Well, hey there, happy day. Right for me, right for you. The question that popped into my mind today is right for me, right for you. And it's a little bit because the idiom that I was discussing for Supersize Your Business and on just my Facebook Live business, or not my business page, my regular profile page, to wake up my voice in the morning, that's the secret, was off the beaten path or off the beaten trail. I've always heard it as off the beaten path, but off the beaten trail, same thing. It's, it means to go off the road, go off the paved road that everyone else is following. Well, back when this was, discovered in the 1600s, of course, they didn't have paved roads. So the path that everybody traveled, the roads everybody went on with their feet and with their horses and with their wagons, got worn down and was really easy to see. And most people followed that trail. But every once in a while, and for some people, they went off that track, off that trail, to follow their own trail, to blaze their own trail, to create what it was that they were supposed to and wanted to create here in the world. The secret is, each and every one of us want to do that, right? There's paths that we think that we're supposed to follow, but a lot of times those are other people's paths, or those are other people's ideas for us, and they might not be the right path for me. They might not be the right path for you. I spent decades, literally decades, following, I'm not even going to say who, but someone else's trail and someone else's path. I guess I can say who. I followed my dad's trail, my dad's path. My dad worked in corporate America for his whole career, and on the side he always had entrepreneurial businesses. I followed that exact same path. He was an engineer, I became an engineer. He worked in corporate America as an executive, I worked in corporate America as an executive. He had a bunch of different businesses and a bunch of different industries on the side while he worked in corporate America. I had a bunch of different businesses and a bunch of different industries on the side in corporate America. And then after and during that, I married someone who was very controlling and very overpowering, and for a lot of years I did what I thought I should do, mostly to keep that person happy and keep my family in place and my family intact, and followed a trail and a path mostly set out by what he wanted to do and his expectations. Don't even ask me why, because when I look back now, I think I must have had temporary decades of insanity that I would not be myself and think for myself and do what I knew what was right for me, even if it wasn't someone else's beaten path. But we get inundated and overwhelmed with what we should do, what we think we should do, based on the experiences we've had up to the point that we make a decision or a choice. So I'm not begrudging that. Because of those choices, I've had incredible experiences and amazing opportunities that I wouldn't have otherwise had. But I also wonder sometimes what would happen if I had not listened to anyone else and I had just always followed my own heart and done what I knew felt right for me. Now, that leads me to what I'm thinking about, and this is kind of a secret thing, but I want to, and I've been talking about it for a while on and off, I want to kill, and I hate to say kill, but I want to kill Pajama Grandma. I want to let go of Pajama Grandma. I created her, or I am her, but I created her and took out that piece of my persona at a time when I was starting in the online world, and it was my way of being myself and being more comfortable and representing a lifestyle and a choice and a change in my own personal lifestyle that I wanted to share with other people. Now, what I found is that the type of people that are attracted to me as Pajama Grandma and that character are not necessarily the type of people that I want to help with my unique set of skills and abilities. I am strong at helping people to take their business to the next level. I hate that expression, but it's true. Find things in their business that are and are not working, build on the things that are working, add a few things that they might not have thought about before, or they're just not doing because they haven't had the time and energy or the resources to do it, and get rid of the stuff that they're not awesome at, and make sure that it's all in alignment with where they really want to go with their business, who they really are as a business or as another entity, and how they want to serve people and show up in the world. That's where my strengths lie. And I found that I was working with a lot of people that were brand new or wanted to just work from home. Now, I work from home, and I say those of us that have been working home for a while feel a lot more comfortable in what's going on in our world right now than those that have not made that adjustment or that change. The businesses that I've been trying to convince to get an online component for several years now, that didn't do it are clamoring at my door saying, okay, I need to do this instantly right now. And I'm like, okay, well, my team's not big enough to do everybody simultaneously, but we'll get this going for you. And here are the things that we can do right now. Here's the things you can do right now. And there's a lot of things that people can do right now, none of which are waiting to see how this is going to shake out. If you wait to see how this is going to shake out, you will be in big trouble at the end of the 30 days or however long we are all going to be safer at home, quarantined, or whatever it is that you happen to be doing with your personal situation. Now is not the time to sit on your laurels and do nothing and binge watch Netflix, although you can do a little of that for stress relief, but now is not the time to get focused on the news. Now is not the time for the bullshit politics crap that I saw yesterday, and maybe it's false news, but I doubt it, that the Democrats are launching an investigation into President Trump for his handling of this crisis. I want to say Democrats and politicians that are behaving in that way, and I'm not talking about whether you like Trump or not. I'm talking about if you are behaving in a way that is detrimental to this country, and you've been doing it a long time, ever since Trump was elected, let's be honest. Come on, people. The career politicians are freaking out because guess what? Their livelihood on the backs of all of the rest of the Americans is being threatened. Well, you know what? It never should have been allowed to get out of control like it has been, and we need to stand up and be honest about, come on, guys, you're supposed to represent us. If you don't, you're out of here. And that means things like impeachment procedures and proceedings for nothing that allow an entire section of our country to do nothing and act like they're doing something for an entire session is unconscionable. And to try to say now they're going to start an investigation into this pandemic is even more unconscionable. And maybe that's not a popular opinion. And if that gets people to not listen to me and not follow me, more power to you, because if you're that ignorant and if you're that blind to what's going on in the world, God help you, because nobody else is going to be able to. I guess that's my little tangent for today. But religious leaders, politicians, gurus, and specialists who are taking advantage of this pandemic in a self-serving, greedy, negative way, you know, guess what? It's karma, baby. And you might not believe in karma, but it is a universal law. And no matter what your spiritual beliefs, karma is 100% absolutely real. It's kind of like the law of attraction. I love people that don't believe in the law of attraction, or you get what you expect out of life, or the energy you put into something is what you get back out. I used to have the arguments with my ex-husband all the time about whenever I just didn't want to talk about something, I would just tell him, hey, you get what you expect. And I knew that he would get so mad that he would just stop talking to me. So because it was so anti to his belief. He believes that everything outside of you controls you, and all you can do is just respond to it. I, on the other hand, believe that we create a lot of our own problems and a lot of our own successes because there's lessons and there's things that we need to learn to grow and develop personally. And so there's things like that we need to just, you know, stop the insanity. You know, I personally believe, and this might not be a very popular opinion either, that the reason we are in this situation, this pandemic, isn't because of the president. It isn't because of politicians. It isn't because of anything like that. I guarantee you we will find that there is some insidious reason that this happened, and somebody will find somebody to blame, but it isn't going to be anybody like President Trump, right? It's going to be some other thing and some other entity that started or created this mess. And it's not even about the mess. It's like when you're focusing on the problem so much that you can't look for solutions. I would say that our political system is so broken that that's what they do. They focus on the problem and their special interests, and mostly the problem is how can they line their own pockets, right? How can they get rich on the backs of hardworking people and hardworking Americans without having to really do anything? You know, insider trading, hello people, where do we think that actually came from? It didn't come from crooked business people sharing information. It's come from special interests and politicians and everything else. But do they ever get blamed or be held accountable for their actions? No. And I got to get off this tangent because I don't normally talk about this stuff. Politics and religion tend to just keep to myself. But when I see and I hear people going down their own self-serving BS routes, that's what got us into this mess, is how horrible people have been being to one another for like the last over a decade, right? And it's just been declining and deteriorating. You know, our political correctness has not corrected anything. It's just put a highlight on people's differences in a negative way. And instead of embracing people's differences and embracing diversity and just loving people for who they are and other human beings, it's become this, oh, you're different from me, therefore I can't tolerate you, I have to hate you. Where the hell did that come from? When did we slip into this mire of crap that made us not be kind to one another anymore, that made human beings just treat one another like crap? Okay, now I'm really down the road and down the tangent. Backing up. All this came from because I want to kill Pajama Grandma. And I want to think of a way to kill her off, kill that character off in a way that doesn't really totally offend people, but my idea is probably going to offend some people. And that's okay, because again, just like Pajama Grandma was a separator to attract the people I wanted to work with to me, letting her go will be a way to separate and let go of the people that I'm not that excited about serving moving forward. So, any ideas to kill Pajama Grandma off, please share them in the comments below or direct message me, because she's going to die very soon. I'm not sure how very soon, but today is day 796 of this episode, or this series that I do, documenting my journey. So maybe I should pick a good number of either the episode or of a date or something to let her go. I'll think about it today. I just decided in the last day or so that it's time to let her go. You might have noticed that I'm not wearing my pajamas the last couple days in videos, and it's because I'm slowly separating myself from that part of me, that character of me, that desire in me to be comfortable, that desire in me to protect myself. And I do that in a lot of ways in my life. And one thing cool about this pandemic, and I don't know if y'all are appreciating it, but is the time and the energy that we get to focus on and pay attention to where we're really at, the road we were on, and where we want to go. And was that even the right road we were on? I gotta tell you, Pajama Grandma served me really well in the last couple of years, but I think that it's time for me to take a different trail. It's time for me to follow a different path. It's time for me to get on a different road and pivot. And along with that comes, guess what? Me stepping out and really being who I am, and embracing that and loving that and being okay with that. And Pajama Grandma gave me a buffer where I could be myself, but I still had the protection of being Pajama Grandma. And it's time to stand up, put on my big girl panties, and let go of that. Yeah, it's gonna be hard. I should probably message Jim Edwards and ask him how he got out of his Hawaiian shirts. That would maybe be a way to help me do that. He's one of my favorite mentors and coaches of all time. Love Jim Edwards. If you don't know who he is, he's the copywriting guy. Copywriting Secrets, great book he came out with, I can't remember if it was this year or late last year. I don't know, I got an early copy, so it's hard to know. Hard to remember, right? So, working on that. Doing the Get Up and Go challenge. Today is day 3. Super excited about that. What the heck does Get Up and Go mean? It means this is not the time to be sitting on your butt doing nothing. This is the time to get up and go and create the life that you want. So today is day 3 about that. And as a matter of fact, we're going to be talking about, what do you freaking want? What do you want in your life? Because guess what? We've all been given this huge gift to say, stop, hold the phone, we're not doing this anymore. Guess what? This doesn't even exist. We might not have an opportunity to go back to the job that we got fired from, or laid off, or let go, or furloughed from. That business, that company, that job might not even be there, because guess what? Whenever there's a massive economic change like this, there are businesses and business owners that decide to continue, and then there's business owners that, you know, sometimes we decide, you know what? Great business. If somebody else wants it, here you go. Otherwise, I'm going a different direction. So your business might not even survive this particular pandemic, right? Just like some people aren't going to survive this pandemic, some businesses and some jobs and some industries will not survive this pandemic. And guess what? It's really harsh, but there's businesses and business people in businesses that should not be in business. And we have been experiencing this incredible economic boom and great times for a long time, right? For a lot of years, since at least the recession-y type real estate bubble bursting in the mid to late 2000s. We've been in this incredibly good economic upswing. And it made business, and it made especially things like online business really, really easy. And now we're in for another change and another adjustment in our lives and in our worlds. And it's up to us to make sure that we're in charge of our own personal adjustment, how we're going to respond to this, how we're going to react, and what we're going to do coming out of it. And the Get Up and Go Challenge is a way to help you do that. So that, and I guarantee that by the end of April, the end of the 30-day challenge, you will be at least 10 times more prepared for whatever will happen, because I don't have a crystal ball, I don't know either, for whatever will happen at the end of that. All right, well, this is definitely an off-track episode today. I'm not going to apologize, because obviously there's things that have been niggling at the back of my mind that I just don't ever talk about. Because sometimes I know I need to go off the beaten path, off the beaten trail, in order to find what is my road, what is the road less traveled that is the right road for me. Because each of us, believe it or not, have our own road, our own path, our only set of experiences that are going to be unique and special and different for each and every one of us. And that's what makes our life so fun, right? I mean, sometimes they don't feel like they're so fun and amazing, but after the fact, if you go back and look at your life, you will notice that the times that you grew the most, that you had the most transformation, are the times that you had the biggest challenges in your life, the biggest pains, the biggest emotional changes and charged events. And so you want to learn from those and build on those and grow from those. That's it. That's all I've got today. Have an absolutely amazing day, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow. Maybe a little calmer tomorrow, but there's no guarantee. Take care. Bye.